Well, you'll know from watching our show that Sweden has taken a very different approach to pretty much everywhere else when it comes to lockdowns. A so-called Swedish model shuns state controls and instead emphasises the role of the individual to do what's right. But that's not such a clear-cut solution, it seems. The number of people who have died there far higher than in neighbouring countries, all of which had tougher measures. So how good could that Swedish model really be? Let's connect you to what's really going on with CNN's Phil Black in what looks like a very cold Stockholm for us this evening. What's the story there, Phil?
Well, Becky, the frontline doctors that we've been talking to here have expressed a lot of frustration, really, because they believe this country is now deep into a second wave, which they feel could have been largely avoided had tougher action been taken sooner. But, of course, Sweden is famous for not being forceful with the coronavirus, relying instead on recommendations to
a gym in central Stockholm. Sweden's government says this is dangerous, but it won't shut them down. And those working hard at this socially distanced class don't want to stop.
Workout for me, it's all I got right now. So I need to do this as long as I can, and for all the members as well, they are so happy that we're still doing it.
Perhaps they'd feel differently if they saw this. Uppsala Hospital, the ICU. A ventilated patient is being prepped for helicopter transfer to another facility with more free beds.
Are you surprised that you're already having to juggle capacity like this?
Not surprised, no. That we expected.
After a quiet summer, the coronavirus is again surging in Sweden.
This isn't like the spring peak. It's nowhere near as intense yet, but it feels to the staff here so familiar. They are tired and frustrated because there is a sense that this could have been avoided.
A powerful second wave hasn't changed the essence of Sweden's distinctive approach to slowing the spread. Still, no forced lockdown, few rules, mostly just advice on social distancing with an emphasis on personal responsibility. On the front line, they say it's not enough.
We need to put some, consequences for not doing these things.
Enforcement.
Yeah, enforcement.
Sweden's official list of recommended behaviour is tougher now. It reads more like a voluntary lockdown, discouraging all non-essential mixing. Go on, flex.
Yes.
Make him look angry. Tegnell is lionized here.
He has been our national hero in this crisis. He has put out guidelines that have kept our freedom.
There's broad support for the country's policies, even though officials admit Sweden failed its elderly. Almost 90% of people who've died so far were over 70. And Sweden's total death toll is more than 4 times the combined figure of its Nordic neighbours, all of which embraced tougher measures. Hello.
Welcome.
But even among the sick, you meet advocates for prioritising freedom. Anders Eidsvik knows the suffering COVID-19 can cause.
It shouldn't be too easy to close down the society, I believe.
Sweden is sticking with a model that relies on consent instead of legal force, but it's now asking people to voluntarily give up more than ever before, and it's not yet clear they're willing to do it.
Becky, the Swedish model is often associated with the concept of herd immunity, the idea that if you let it run enough in the community and the population, that natural immunity builds up to the point that it will eventually stop the spread. The officials here say that was never the goal, but they did hope that greater exposure would result in enough immunity in the population to at least slow down that spread somewhat. They now say there is simply no evidence to suggest that is happening during this new wave. Becky.